Hello, my name is Amu. I'm a lecturer in neuroscience and psychology, a nurturing mother, a business failure, and a betrayed wife. There was a moment in my life where I found myself standing in the ruins of everything I thought I knew. My boy, aged 9 then, sat in front of me and studied my face one day when I took him to brunch. The cafe was vibrant and noisy, and families were happily chatting away. But then he asked me a question that made my stomach tighten and my heart throb, much like how I'm feeling right now. Mama, did Papa betray you? He asked in earnest. At 9, I wasn't even sure I knew what the word betrayal meant. But here he was, my sweet boy, bright-eyed and an old soul who clearly knew the essence of what betrayal meant. My marriage had ended. I was going through the process of a divorce. It took everything out of me to shelter him through the process. However, that came at the expense of me. I couldn't eat. I was barely surviving on 3 to 4 hours of sleep. I was recovering from abuse. The smallest of sounds startled me. I was carrying trauma. It was really heartbreaking looking at myself in the mirror because I genuinely didn't know who was staring back at me. I had lost my sense of identity. I looked like a different person, 20 kilos heavier. I felt like a different person, crushed in my self-esteem and discarded. I thought like a different person, always worrying about when the next disaster was going to happen. And if you had met me then, you would have never thought to ask me whether I was playful. You might have asked, how are you still surviving? How are you still standing? How are you still smiling? If I let you in on the truth. I realized I was at ground zero. I was at the lowest I had ever felt in my life. I had nothing more left to give to anyone, physically, mentally, emotionally, financially. But here's the thing about ground zero and what happens next. No one really teaches you about it. So I was really met with people who asked me to be strong and heal. And then I remember thinking, what are these people? What rubbish are these people spewing? Like, seriously? Can you even imagine the darkness that I've been frolicking in, calling it my home? I was so angry and resentful. I was so full of rage about all the choices that I had made that led me to where I was. I was plagued with questions like, how do I rebuild myself? How do I trust myself again? How do I discover a new version of myself without fundamentally losing who I am? How do I recover my integrity? Can someone really shape the way that they are consciously? That question became an obsession for me. I was a straight A student. I went to the top junior college and university in Singapore, studied psychology, focused on brain and behavior, did my master's in it, and had embarked on a PhD in that subspecialty just before my marriage ended. I took obsession to a whole different level. I read so many books. I watched so many documentaries. Looking back, the hardest part wasn't what happened to me. It was realizing how far I had drifted away from myself. Somewhere along the way, I stopped trusting my own voice. I stopped honoring my own boundaries. I stopped living in alignment with my values. I was desperate for answers. Not motivation, not inspiration, answers. So I deep dived into the domain that I studied, psychology and neuroscience, and I experienced something remarkable. My life is not predetermined and set in the way that it is. The brain changes, and as a result, identity changes. The brain is more adaptable than we realize. Neuroplasticity was my saving grace, my ammunition, my SOS. During my recovery, I expected healing to look serious. Disciplined, structured, clinical. Do your 10,000 steps. Portion out your food. Find a lecturing position, and then some more. Build your monetary reserves. Invest, save, go to therapy, do the homework. Even if you have to crawl to the finish line, crawl. You must heal. But then something really unexpected happened. I discovered play. Play seemed to be part of the solution. Play saved me. As children, play is one of the fundamental ways in which we explore the world. I never thought, most certainly, that I would think of playing when I felt at my lowest. The Oxford English Dictionary defines play as the quality of being lighthearted and full of fun. It was an oxymoron that play would be the pathway for me to rebuild. And yet, I was met with so much of surprise when I saw this unfolding in my life. In the immediate period after my divorce, I was met with someone completely new. She was extroverted, she took risks, she was sexy, she was cheeky, she was flirty. She once wrote her number on a napkin and passed it to a really cute waiter in the restaurant. Everything was an experiment for her, a game, a data point to learn from and improve. And then something strange happened. I met someone new. Me. I learned salsa. I was creative. I started writing again. I realized that I had a witty sense of humor. I nursed myself over the years to neutrality about what had happened to me. I was very proud that I altered my energy signature through play. Healing didn't begin with a neuroscience paper. It began with small moments. Here's why play worked. We are a function of our neurochemicals and neurohormones. I applied play. I applied play mindfully in the areas of living, learning, loving, working, and being. In the area of living, I spent a lot of time walking in nature, and I endeavored to do the good things in life with good people. When I did that, my body rewarded me with endorphins. Learning and working became synonymous with me trying on different hats. I role-played a lot. Like how I would be in front of my students, what I would say in different situations, and that enhanced my attention, my engagement, satisfaction, and motivation. That's your acetylcholine and dopamine. In the domain of love, I had to relearn what felt safe and healthy in my body again. I played a lot of Scrabble with my loved ones. I solo traveled, I climbed mountains with people I cared about. Trust slowly became a physical sensation. That's oxytocin. Perhaps the biggest test of reinvention of myself was when I noticed a difference in the way that I was being. I wasn't waking up afraid anymore. I stopped scanning the rooms that I was in. I began to stop preparing for a battle that wasn't coming. That calm has a biology, serotonin. In neuroscience, Hebb's law states that neurons that fire together wire together. Because of neuroplasticity, I was able to rewire the way that I associated life. I was an expert in pain because of my past and an expert in the brain because of my learnings. but the magic potion that healed my traumatic pain and hypervigilant brain was play. Now, the reason why this matters isn't because I want people who've been through trauma to have more fun. No. This matters because the adults we become shape the children that we raise, the communities we build, the classrooms we create, the businesses we innovate. Identity is not found or discovered. Identity is built through courage, through integrity, through connection, through play. We used to think that play was something children did before life became serious. Now I think play is something we do to remember who we truly are after life becomes serious. Everyone will likely have a ground zero. It might not look like mine, but when that happens, and on that day, I hope you remember this. Identity isn't discovered or found, identity is built and reinvented again and again and again. Sometimes the first step simply is to give yourself permission to play. Thank you.